What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and today we are going to talk about episode 3 and 4 of that good old Real Housewives of New Jersey. Okay, y'all, Teresa and Tracy are getting on my nerves. Let's talk about it, shall we? All right, y'all. So in episode 3, it starts off with Dolores meeting with the kids, and she basically let them move into her townhouse that she kind of created refuge in because Frank is not done with the house. So she has them move in because she doesn't want them to be living in despair in the house that is the never ending project. Okay. So they're talking about how they really want him to just get in there and get it together, basically. So Gabby, her daughter got a bad attitude, okay? And for her to be is no shade, but as highly attractive as Frankie is, the daughter is very regular degular. I don't know what happened there, but you your attitude is real stank too. So you need to get it together. Okay. You're very bossy, and yeah, your parents are doing a lot for you. So you might want to be grateful, okay? Because you seem very entitled. Frankie just seems very grateful, and she just seems very entitled. I don't understand. But Dolores is like, I really want to provide a space for you guys to live in where you don't have to pay rent, because I want you to just move out and buy a house. I don't want you to just be living in an apartment or whatever the case may be. So it's great that they're actually trying to create that space for their children and really help them. And I think that more people that can afford to do that should help their children. Why make them struggle when they don't have to? Like, struggle doesn't always create prosperity, okay? And if you show them the way, then they'll do the same thing for their children, and so on and so forth. All right. So Gabby says, yeah, when we move back into the house, if we're going to move back into the house with Frank, she calls her dad Frank, not dad, but Frank. Okay. Problem number one. She's like, we're going to have to set some boundaries and ground rules. And I'm like, girl, are you paying the mortgage? I don't, what? Get you a house so you can make the rules. I don't understand. You staying here scot-free, chick. Get it together. He paying for a whole renovation that you ain't putting that one coin of your veterinarian salary into, good sis. And I'm sure they paid cash for you to go to school. So you have no debt from school, and you will not have any debt, period. So you should be able to save money real quick to get out. I'm just saying. She kind of irks me a little bit. I don't know. So anyway, they discuss, having a family meeting to basically go over their frustrations. Okay. So Gia has a photo shoot for her Wake Up in the Morning song that went viral that she created sweatshirts for. And after it was over, her, Melania, and Teresa talk about a pizza night with Joe and Melissa to get through their issues with their Uncle Joe. So Gia says she made up with, Joe, and she basically was like, I'll talk to my sisters and see what they want to do, but I'm good with them. So Melania was like, oh, no. He talked about my daddy, and y'all know I love my daddy. And I ain't fooling with her. Okay. And Melania and Gia was like, girl, just get over it. Okay. Like, this is the problem in this family. Y'all be holding grudges too damn long. And she's like, you know what? Listen, I forgave him. You do what you want to do, sis. I'm good. Next sweatshirt. Let me take another picture because you getting on my nerves. I ain't got time. So Melania is like, y'all not about to force me to forgive him. And Teresa is just like, well, whatever you want to do, I support you, whatever. And I'm like, girl, you is such a pushover. Like, parent your damn kids. What is wrong with you? Tell her to get over it with her uncle, because that is just, honestly, at this point, I understand that they're old enough to have feelings. I get it. But you cannot, the way that I didn't really appreciate the way Gia was talking to Joe in the previous episode either. For me, one of my aunts and uncles probably would have knocked my daggone teeth out. And that's just that on that. We don't tolerate that in the Black community. Okay. But different strokes for different folks. But anyway, they ask her if she's going to participate in the pizza situation, and she ain't really checking for the pizza event. So the guys meet for lunch, all of the guys of Jersey, which I actually really, really love the relationship of the guys in this specific franchise. They really, it seems like they genuinely get along. So they discuss the situation with, you know, the guys meet for lunch and they discuss the conflict the renovations are causing in Frank's family. So Frank talks about how, you know, the house isn't finished, the kids are coming for him, Dolores is coming for him. He got his girlfriend that, you know, he's screwing every which away, and he got to figure out how to balance time between the girlfriend and fixing the daggone house. So then they talk about Bill. They're like, they feel bad for Bill and the situation that's going on. But then, you know, Joe is like, yeah, I feel bad for Bill, but his wife got a mouth on her. Because he basically, Jennifer has said something about them being, Joe and Melissa being sketchy business people or whatever. So Joe ain't trying to let her live for that. So he's like, yes, unfortunate what happened with Bill, but, you know, I ain't checking for Jennifer. And then they talk about Gia mouthing off to him and how he didn't like it. And then they all joke about going on a retreat and getting naked in the woods and beating the shit out of each other, kind of making fun of Louis, because that's, Louis went on some retreat to become a better man. So they were making fun of that. So moving right along, in the next scene, Jackie and her husband go to dinner and they discuss enjoying themselves without the kids for 2 weeks and how they should make dinner plans and get everybody together. So they reminisce on life before the kids, and they end up talking about her food, you know, her previous bout with anorexia or whatever. And she was talking about how last year she really struggled with it because that was when all the girls were basically coming for her about her relationship and how he was, you know, supposedly getting blowjobs in the bathroom or whatever. So she really was stressed over that because she, you know, it's obvious that her and Evan have a connection and they really love each other, and that really hurt her, just the idea of thinking that something like that happened. And then now they're putting it on TV, trying to make him look bad. And she just really didn't like how that made it, you know, how that came out. So that really stressed her out, and she started to relapse and have, you know, bouts of not eating again. So Evan uncovered to her, he was like, yeah, the kids notice it. Like, I've been noticing some things. And she talked about how when she was, you know, she was in college, guys really liked skinny girls. That was the thing. Like, they wanted, see, she talked about some guy that wanted to have somebody so skinny that he could pick them up with their pinky or something like that, with his pinky. And I'm like, girl, if you don't eat a steak and cheese and stop playing around, I mean, let me say this, food addiction can go either way. Okay. Because there's people that overeat too much. And then there's people that don't want to eat enough because of their body image. I'm one of those people that, listen, my body gonna be what it's gonna be, and I'm gonna eat some food. Okay. Because I'm hungry. I can't go without being without eating. But you can't shame somebody's, you know, that has to be really taxing on you to really be so concerned with your body image that you are willing to neglect your health and not eat and potentially kill yourself. Because she talks about how when she stands up and, you know, she sits down with a therapist in the next episode where she's just on, she talks about her only eating lettuce and all this, that, and the third. And even at this lunch with her husband, she's drinking alcohol but not eating. I don't understand that. And that kind of explains her sort of slurred speech sometimes, because I'm like, you gotta have some food on your stomach to catch all that alcohol. Like, I don't understand how she drinking so much and not eating nothing. But moving right along, she admits that she's scared of gaining weight and she's scared of food, period. Evan says that she needs to get some professional help, and he is happy that she's actually opening up about it. And I appreciate their relationship and him actually being open and talking to her, not judging her or whatever, and just being a really secured partner. Like, he really seemed very supportive in that moment, and that was nice to see, because some people can be very judgmental, especially if you're not going through that situation. I don't know how she feels, so I can't judge her. And hopefully, I'm praying that she really finds her way out of this and finds recovery, finds, you know, solace in food, and get some nutrients in her body and just does better with that. So in the next scene, Teresa and the girls go to Louis' house to meet with Joe and Melissa and their kids. And Louis has them all sit down and he gives them questions and tools to deal with their issues. So before they sit down, Teresa again advocates for Jennifer, with Melissa saying they should all be more supportive of Jennifer. Here's my thing. Jennifer talked all that shit about everybody else, and now all of a sudden they supposed to kiss her ass because Teresa said so. Teresa, get the fuck out of here. Cause you about 2 seconds on you on my list too. I'm about sick of you. Because everybody has to do whatever you say in order to be somehow in some good graces. Girl, get out of here. This ain't no daggone sorority. And if it was, you would be voted off, because nobody really, all that stuff is stupid. Like, Jennifer is stupid. She talked all that crap. She's not exempt from being exposed. You're on national TV. Obviously, things in your past are going to come out. It is what it is. Y'all don't have to kick the bobo with her and skip around the mulberry bush of her problems to make her feel better. No. Just like they need to talk about your man being Tarzan in the woods and embarrass you too. Because you like to embarrass everybody else. Why not join in the fun and get you too? So anyway, the family sits down and they end up talking through their situation and realizing that they need to stop holding on to old grudges. And I think that Teresa is actually the person that really does that the most. And her and Joe, it must be a Gorga thing, because unless you are agreeing with them, they don't want to hear nothing you have to say. And then they hold on to stuff every time if anybody does anything to them. But Joe, I was proud of him in this moment, because he listened to the girls and he heard Melania out, because Melania, they were all kind of talking, and then Melania expresses her frustration with, having to worry if they're going to get over an issue and then get into another one. And Joe ends up apologizing, acknowledging their feelings, and agreeing to be active and moving forward and forgiving and not harping on old stuff. So in the next scene, Tiki Barber and his wife have a chat at home, and they're getting ready for the party. That Jackie and her husband are having. Like, they're going to have this keg party, because both Jackie and her husband Evan were both in a sorority and a fraternity in college. So they were like, oh, that would be cool if we had like a big party before the kids come back home, and we can just really have fun with our friends or whatever and let loose. So Tracy and Tiki are getting ready, and I'm just not here for Tracy. I just feel like she's just doing anything to be seen at this point, and she's just very irrelevant and I don't give a fuck about her. And she's talking about Jennifer and saying how she understands how Jennifer feels because people talked about her and Tiki. Girl, cry me a ribbon face, okay? Nobody cares about you and Tiki. He was definitely cheating on his wife with you, okay? Nobody cares. That was years ago. Nobody even knows you. Let people get to know you outside of your scandal. Here's your opportunity to do that. And you're defending Jennifer, and you know her for 5 damn seconds. Wait till she starts talking crap about you. Then let's see if if you still singing Dixie with Jennifer's name in it. Get out of here. You're a get-wit, and you're just trying to be seen, and I don't like you. So next scene, everyone arrives for the frat sorority keg party Jackie and Evan are hosting. Everyone arrives with their spouses except Jennifer. They all joke around about the size of Joe's penis and if it's exactly big or not, and if Dolores has seen it to validate the size. She insists that she doesn't know. So they're basically joking around, saying that maybe Dolores and Joe had a little rendezvous, because that is Teresa's bestie, and they all grew up together. So maybe she had a roll in the sack with them. And they're both like, no, that didn't happen. I don't think Joe can handle Dolores, and I don't think Dolores messing with him, because he probably talked too much for her. So moving right along, Jackie and Tracy, the irrelevant chick, are saying they should all stop ganging up on Jennifer and stop telling her to stop crying, because they're talking about basically saying Dolores shouldn't tell her that she can't be emotional or whatever. I'm like, Tracy, you wasn't even there. What are you talking about? Or maybe she was there, because I don't really care about her. So whatever. I don't care about Tracy. So Margaret and Melissa are saying Jennifer can dish it, but she can't take it. And they only can address her. They only addressed her one time about it, and she shouldn't even have anxiety about coming around them anymore, because they've already said their piece. So Bill and Jennifer arrive to the party, and Jennifer talks to Tracy and Jackie and doesn't really want to talk to Marge. So before when I said she hadn't arrived with Bill, she was talking to, I guess, Bill and saying how she, needed his support at this party because she ain't want them chicks ganging up on her or whatever. So Dolores ends up telling the ladies that her and David are broken up because he didn't give her the time she wanted. And I knew Dolores wasn't happy with David. She kept on trying to make everybody think she was okay and she didn't want to get engaged and all this, that, and the other. Girl, I saw right through your BS and your eyebrows. You was not trying to not be with that guy. You wanted to be with him. You wanted to live in his townhouse, but you wanted to marry him and he wasn't checking for marrying you. And that's all that was. I didn't really see a lot of chemistry between them either. It really gave me buddy vibes. Like, and she talked about how great he was with sex and cunnilingus and all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, really? Have he seen your vagina? It don't look like it. They didn't seem very romantical to me. And so good riddance. I'm like, girl, get rid of Grimace. Ain't nobody thinking about him. And he ain't in the hospital that damn much. Okay. So moving right along, Dolores comes over. She tells them, but she don't really want to talk about it. Of course, Dolores, the emotionless. Okay. So all the ladies are talking, and Dolores comes over to speak to Jennifer. And Jennifer immediately says she's happy Tracy had her back. So she goes into talking about how, Tracy had my back, and this person, Jennifer, shut the Jennifer gets on my nerves. She is like very woe is me this season. And you was the one talking big trash all last season up Teresa's butthole. Anything to support Teresa, you was doing. And it didn't, and a lot of it didn't even have nothing to do with you. You was fighting battles that had nothing to do with you. Now that it's about you, you are like a doe in the woods and need everybody to agree with everything you say. That's why you and Teresa are friends. Y'all can't handle the truth. So Jackie comes over. Jennifer says Jackie says she hasn't. She feels like Dolores hasn't been a good friend to her, and so Jackie comes over and says she doesn't feel like Dolores has been there for Jennifer the way that she should. And Jackie said, "Well, Jennifer made videos about me, and I'm over here supporting her." So Marge comes over and says, "You're more my friend than Jennifer." And Dolores says, "Jennifer, do you feel like I'm your friend?" And Jennifer says, "I don't feel supported." And Dolores says she'll work on it. Here's my thing. If you got to feel supported by me agreeing with everything you do, then bitch, we not friends, because I'm not about to just agree with you because I call you my friend. If you doing some messed up stuff, then goddamn it, I'm going to tell you fucking up, okay? Because don't be my friend. Because I'm not going to agree with you and your bullshit. And you did some bullshit last season. So don't think that because they say you're their friend that now they need to kiss your ass. That's dead all the way and never going to be alive. Okay. So then Dolores then says, "Okay, I'm hearing it from you, but I don't want to hear it from this," and points to Jackie. And Jackie says, "Don't call me this," and gets heated and says, "Don't call me this. I'm not scared of you. Don't get in my." And Dolores says, "Don't get in my face. Don't get in my face, because you hungry." And you ain't got much weight up on you. If all I got to do is pluck you and you're gonna pass out. Don't play with me now, Jackie. Okay. And Jackie, yeah, girl, you got some extra things that's gonna prevent you from getting into fights with people. You need to calm down. You might be in over your head with this one. Also, why you gotta try to be a gangster? You're not a gangster, girl. You know that Dolores will hit you one time and you'll be knocked the hell out. You got a lot of mouth for somebody that don't have no no bark behind it. You have nothing behind your bark at all. I don't get it. You need to be quiet. Now I get it. You don't want nobody. You ain't trying to look like a pushover in front of people, but you know good and goddamn well that Dolores will beat your ass. So you better shut the hell up. That's what I think you need to do. Walk away. Walk away. So in episode 4, it starts with Dolores and Jackie still going back and forth. And Dolores turns to Jennifer and says, "If you have a problem, listen, I'm done with toothpick over here. Because I know I'm gonna whoop her ass. I ain't even trying to go to jail today. Because this is wasting my damn time. That's light work. Jennifer, listen, look here, little bitch. If you got a problem with me, just tell me. Okay? We ain't got to be going back and forth with other people. You going around the mulberry bush talking to other people about me. Just come to me and tell me how you feel. And that's that on that. Capiche?" And Jennifer says, "Okay, I understand what you're saying. I'll go ahead and let you know next time." So Jackie wants to keep going back and forth with Dolores to show she isn't scared, and she wants to prove Dolores isn't a good friend. Jackie, go sit the hell down. Go suck on the keg, or better yet, your husband's dick, because apparently you ain't been doing that enough in the past. So just mind your business. That's all. Mind your business. So next, Jennifer and Margaret have a side conversation, and Margaret explains to her that she, you know, called her a kitty, called her a kitty, and her husband did the same. Oh, a cheater. I don't know how that came up. So she's basically like, she called her a cheater, and her husband did the same thing, basically saying, you came after Marge. She came after Marge so hard. And basically her husband did the same thing. And Jennifer said, you know what, if I'm honest, your cheating was just more of a trigger for me, because the way you were boasting about it, it made me feel like, okay, what if this chick that slept with my husband is out here boasting about it and telling people about it? And it just triggered her. And also Jennifer had never really dealt with it, because she was so busy trying to sweep things under the rug to make Bill look perfect all the time. Which I get it, that's your husband, and you don't want to, if y'all agreed to get past it, of course you're going to continue to look at your husband in a positive light. But if it's breaking you up this much, did y'all really deal with it? Did you really get over it? Because at this point, I would be like, oh, me and my husband talked about it. We good. That was one indiscretion. I forgave him, and we moving on. That was 10 years ago. We good. We solid. We a good couple. He ain't cheated on me no more since. And what else is going on? That's how I would have handled it. By you being all broke up over it and all this shit, you making it worse yourself. Okay? And you want to talk about, oh, my children, this and that. You have a conversation with your kids. That's all you can do. You explain it to them. If it comes up, say, listen, that was 10 years ago. Me and your father are grown-ups, and this is a grown-up situation. Your father is a great father to you. Him being a father to you has nothing to do with him being a husband to me. Two separate things. So you don't need to be concerned with my relationship. And that's just putting kids in their place. It don't seem like Jennifer puts her kids in their place, because they tell her what to do. It's like she their maid on call. So that's the problem right there. Y'all already don't have the foundation set properly with the roles in the household. So that's why she's so broken up and upset. But anyway, Jackie and Dolores end up having a conversation after so it goes, Margaret and Jennifer end up saying, you know, if we have an issue with each other, let's just talk about it. We're going to dead this situation, because I don't want it to really continue to break you up like this, and let's move on. I don't need to talk about it anymore. And Jennifer's like, okay. So Jackie and Dolores have a conversation. They smooth things over, but Jackie feels like Dolores brushes over things too much. And when Jackie was going through her issues last year, she wasn't okay. Here's the thing, Jackie. Jennifer isn't you. You were going through something, and they were all ragging on you about a situation that happened to you. Nothing was happening to Jennifer last year, and she jumped in on getting at you. So instead of you jumping in on getting at her this year, you aired on the side of supporting her. She didn't do that for you. So why are you so quick to jump on Dolores just to show that you got some balls? Girl, bye. Go sit down somewhere. So in the next scene, everyone drinks and talks about going down to the shore. Melissa goes, everybody is drinking on the keg and got people upside down. They got Jackie sucking down the keg, and Tracy, and all this, that, and the third. And Melissa goes around saying, you know, we should all go down the shore and just have a good old time. So Jackie, in the next scene, Jackie meets with a specialist to deal with her eating disorder. And she admits she has numbness in her fingers at times and a slowed heart rate. And when she stands up, she gets a little dizzy. And she's been struggling with this eating disorder for 20 years now. So the young lady, the woman that is going to be her assigned therapist, was saying, okay, well, we want to get an EKG on you. We want to get some scans or whatever, because some of the things that you're telling me really are showing some concerns, and we really need to know where your vitals are first before we start to perform any treatments on you. And she's like, what? Wow, do I really need all of that before you guys start treating me? And they say, yeah, because these are red flags in the system, of the signs, the issues that you're having. This is not good. So Jackie gets nervous or whatever, and after it's over she calls her husband and she's like, oh my gosh, what if I die from this? Like, I feel so bad. Like, what have I gotten my, like, how far have I gotten myself? Like, this is crazy. And she was telling the doctor how she constantly counts calories, she eats mainly lettuce, and she's concerned that she's not getting any nutrients from the stuff that she's eating because she's so afraid of gaining weight. So in the next scene, Dolores and the kids meet up with their kid, meet up with her kids and Frank to talk about the living situation. So her daughter Gabby is like, "Yeah, I'm just here to set the ground rules. Basically, like, Frank ain't about to be bringing no chicks up in here, and that's that on that. Like, I'm the head honcho up in this house, and he gonna do basically what I say." And Dolores is like, okay. You a hot headed one." And Frankie's like, "Yeah, this one. What's she talking about?" So Frank, the father, comes in and they're talking about him and his whores and all this, that, and the third. Like, they all make this a joke. I wonder if Dolores really thinks that this stuff is funny, or she secretly really wants to be back with Frank, but he's such a knucklehead that it don't happen. But anyway, Frank is like, so y'all telling me I can't have nobody in the house, but y'all can have people up in the house? And the daughter is like, well, yeah. And he's like, well, just because your man ain't screwing you right, don't mean that I should be able to not have anybody in, and because you can hear me and I can't hear you. So then Dolores is like, Frank, that's just disgusting and disrespectful. Don't be talking to our kids like that. But all in all, Frank is excited to live with them because he's never lived with his kids beyond them being babies. So I think they got a divorce while Dolores was pregnant with Frankie. So he never really, I don't think he ever lived with Dolores, with the kids together. He never lived with Frankie and Dolores, like everybody as a family. So he's like, this is his opportunity. He's getting older and family is what's most important. So he's willing to do whatever it takes to make it work. And he's going to finish the house so that they can just be one big happy family under one roof. And he asked Dolores if she's moving back into the house. And she says, no, I extended my lease on the townhouse. And he's like, why? And she's like, one of the kids had asked, how's David? What's going on with David? And so she kind of around it for a minute, talking about they don't really see each other a lot and all this, that, and the third. And Frank was like, just get on with it. Tell the kids y'all broke up. And so she's like, yeah, we ended up going our separate ways. And so the kids are like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Would you be upset if we still talk to him? Like, do you want us to distance ourselves from him or whatever the case may be? She was like, no, I don't want you guys to stop talking to him just because we're not together. And in her confessional, she was like, well, rather be around my kids and Frank than me. So that's obvious. So I'm not going to ruin their relationship because we didn't work out. So in the next scene, Joe and Melissa are down at the shore and they can be seen arriving. Jackie talks about moving forward with recovery in her scene with her husband. So it's just like a lot of little recaps of all of them getting ready to come down to the shore. So Joe and Melissa arrive. They pour vodka in the water dispenser, by the way. I was like, that's insane. And somebody is going to be very, very drunk and very caught off guard. And I hope don't nobody try to drink that and they're parched. Then in a quick scene, Jackie talks about moving forward with her recovery and trying to stop worrying about lunch and harping over what she needs to eat. And she's like, yeah, well, at Joe Gorga's house, you have to have a lot of sex. So I guess you're going to get a lot of sex this weekend. And he's like, I'm not worrying about that. Listen, I'm going to get mine regardless. That's basically what Evan was saying. So Dolores and Frank are talking at the shore house, well, on their way to the house, and saying he can't believe Dolores says she cried over David. Oh, Dolores and Frank are talking at their shore house because they arrive at their shore house, and he says he can't believe Dolores cried over David. And he asked, did you even cry over me? She was like, yeah, I cried. You just never seen me cry. I was like, well, what is it with y'all crying? Like, y'all are just superhuman and don't have no emotions in Jersey. What is going on? So in the next scene, you can see Jennifer talking to Bill and says she doesn't feel comfortable going to the shore without him the whole time because he's not going to go for the whole time. He has to work. So, she says, even though Margaret and Jennifer made up, even though her and Margaret made up, Jennifer is telling Bill that she isn't over it, apparently. So she's still upset with Margaret and she's still questioning Dolores' loyalty. You know what? I don't get Jennifer. You just sat up there at the party and said that you're over it, and now you're rehashing it. I can't stand a bitch like that. If we said that we're over it and we're moving past it, don't keep rehashing shit. Because if I got to argue with you over the same shit every 6 days or 6 months, we can't be friends because you doing too much. And I can't have people in my life that do too damn much. So in the next scene, Tracy arrives at Joe and Melissa's house by herself first without Tiki. Tiki is apparently still working, and they give her some water, quote unquote, but it's actually vodka. And she's like, "Oh my God, what the hell is this?" So on the next scene, on the way to the shore, Marge talks about the Louis situation again. I'm like, is Marge the person that's bringing up all the drama this season? Because that's what it seems like. She trying to keep the storylines going. First, she brought up the situation with Jennifer and her husband. Now she's still harping on this stuff with Louis, which he seems to keep on escaping every 5 minutes talking about it. So Teresa arrives at Jennifer's house and they discuss Jennifer not feeling like Dolores is loyal enough and how she's still upset with Marge. Girl, get over it. Get over it, Jennifer. Like seriously, you doing too damn much. I cannot. You said that you forgave these bras. Now you want to keep on rehashing it because I don't know if you using this to stick next to Teresa to have a grudge with somebody or what. Get over it. Just seriously. It's done. So everyone goes to the beach, and Dolores tells Jennifer she understands she was upset, but it's normal. And then Jennifer says, "Oh, so now it's okay for me to be upset?" Because Dolores was the main one saying, "What are you crying for? Like, seriously, what the hell?" And so now Dolores is making it seem like it's okay for Jennifer to have been emotional. And Jennifer's like, "Oh, well, now it's okay," like being sarcastic in her confessional. So then everyone is constantly asking about Louis at this point. They end up leaving the beach and going back to the house to cool off because it's really hot. So they end up getting in the pool and they're all kind of standing around talking about Louis. And, the ladies say that Louis needs to be able to deal with the accusations and just address it or whatever. So Dolores tells Teresa about the breakup. And Teresa says she's sorry and why didn't she text her? And Jennifer says, that makes sense why you blew up the other day. Because Dolores did go off on Jackie. And Jennifer, then Dolores tells her Jackie made a comment about Bill not sticking his dick in anyone. Yeah, so Jackie, I mean, he shouldn't have. I don't understand why that was a problem. I don't get why that is such an issue. So Jennifer's like, "Oh my God, Jackie said that." She tried to pretend like she's so supportive, but that is disgusting that she would say that about my husband. Well, bitch, it did happen. He did stick his dick in somebody else. Like, what is your empty-headed ass talking about? Why are you mad at Jackie for stating the obvious? She's on yours. All she said was, "I'm more on Jennifer's side than Bill. I like Bill, but I'm more on Jennifer's side because he should have never done that." People don't think about how the things that they do can affect their spouse, basically, is what she was saying. And she was on Jennifer's side. But now she needs to be thrown away in the next day's garbage because she admitted the obvious. What? Would it have been better if she'd have said, "Oh, it's okay for Bill to cheat on her. It's cool"? Yeah, I don't get y'all morals in Jersey. That shit don't make no damn sense right there. I mean, she was stating the fucking obvious. Like, what the fuck? But anyway. And the next thing, everyone goes back to, this is where everybody's back at the house. They're all talking about Louis. Teresa texts Melissa saying, "You better have Louis back." So apparently she knew that they were going to keep on bringing up this Louis stuff. So as Teresa comes into Jennifer's house, she's going up in her room to get dressed, and Louis calls her, and he's like, "I'm not feeling good about filming." Basically, like, she's like, "I'm mic'd up." So she takes her mic off. They have a conversation. Apparently, Louis is uncomfortable, and as Teresa, she decides, "I'm out of here. I'm leaving." So the producer or somebody on the production team comes and says, "Yeah, Louis is feeling a little uncomfortable. He doesn't even want to come in here. He's been sitting in the parking lot for a little bit." And Teresa was like, "Well, I'm leaving." She's like, "No, forget this, because I'm on reality TV, not him. Like, he doesn't want to deal with this. That's messed up that you guys are trying to bring him, like, really talk about him, talk trash about him or whatever. Like, I'm not with it." I'm like, Teresa, but you can sit up here and talk about everybody else, but nobody can talk about your man and his weird ass tape that he made. All of y'all, if y'all just address the issues, it would dead the whole situation. All he had to do was like, yeah, I did do the video. And I would do it again for Teresa if I had to. I really wanted my girl back. And this is what I did. Went to this retreat to learn how to treat women better. And obviously it's working because I have a better relationship with Teresa. It's all good. Yeah, you guys get your laughs on now. But I'm a better person because of it. And I know how to treat my partner better. And I know how to communicate with her well because of it. So laugh all you want. I don't really care. I mean, and it really isn't that deep. The video is not that serious. Like, they making it seem like he was killing somebody in the video. Now, it did look weird as hell. I ain't gonna lie, it's a weird ass video. But Teresa is pissed, so she drives off in her rose gold Range Rover, child, because she's like, oh, what y'all not about to do is try to expose my man for some and laugh at him over some video. Well, they already laughing at him. I mean, y'all be mad over some silly shit. I can't. This petty bullshit that they got going on in New Jersey is really racking my brain. I don't know how much longer I can deal with it. I'm gonna need y'all to move past it. I'm gonna need y'all to get rid of Tracy because she's annoying and boring. She don't know shit. I'm gonna need Jennifer to stop being so emotional over some shit that happened 10 years ago and move on. And I'm gonna need Teresa to stop covering up some shit that Louis did years ago that frankly don't nobody give a damn. Just say, yeah, I did it, and but anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share my video with anybody else that watches this show too. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.